Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today as we talk about SaaSOps, a new way to automate management tasks and protect data. My name's Colin McCarthy. I'm a VP for Global IT. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about myself. As you can see from this picture, I started my IT career in 1998 doing telephone support for CompuServe, which back then was basically just reinstalling dial-up networking in Windows 95 and 98. And security was very different back then. We used Telnet to connect to the CompuServe network via public IP. We certainly wouldn't be doing that today. My journey into software as a service, or SaaS, started before the term was mainstream. When I used Rightly in 2005, back then I saw the power of browser-based collaboration, and of course Rightly became Google Docs. I started to use my own Google domain in 2009, and I've been supporting and working in Google Workspace ever since. So I work for Essence, essenceglobal.com, which is a global data and measurement-driven full-service agency. When I joined in 2010, we had one office and 60 users, and now 10 years later, we have 20 offices and 1,900 users. What has helped us with this growth has been Google Workspace, or Google Apps for Business, as we first called it, and our early adoption of SaaS-based applications and solutions. Basing our operations on the Zero Trust model has also helped our growth. Only a fraction of our users require VPN access as a function of their role, and key internally built applications are public-facing and are hosted on the Google Cloud Platform. This has provided the security and the scalability that we need. During our growth, SaaS applications and the industry has grown too. Like many, we started with one application and then added more. SaaS applications were adopted for internal processes like HR and Bamboo, or recruitment and Greenhouse, and in the support of a widening range of clients and client needs. Working with these applications brought new skills and a new practice referring to how software as a service, SaaS applications, are managed and secured through centralized and automated operations, ops, resulting in reduced friction, improved collaboration, and a better experience for our employees. So researchers showed that since 2015, the number of IT-sanctioned SaaS apps has increased tenfold, and that's still going to continue. It's expected that by 2025, 85% of business apps will be SaaS-based. There's a lot riding on an IT organization's ability to manage, integrate, and secure SaaS environments that may include dozens or even hundreds of apps as businesses bet their future on SaaS. So SaaS has changed the way we had to think about onboarding new starters, new employees as we call them, and more importantly, offboarding when someone leaves the company. Back in the day when a user left, you would disable their Active Directory account, collect their company laptop, if they had one, a lot of people still had desktops, and ask for the office key back. Now their account and the network was secure. As SaaS has grown, so has the complexity of how we manage that. And with that complexity comes the opportunity for error. There have been many studies and articles about how employees either have access to company data that they should not, and more worryingly is the percentage of employees who still retain access to company data and systems that they have after they have left your employment. The use of unsanctioned SaaS apps, otherwise known as shadow IT, is one of the most daunting challenges for any IT administrator. Employees adopt unsanctioned SaaS apps for a wide range of reasons, but most people do so because they believe an unsanctioned app will improve their job performance. It's easier to just start using a tool rather than asking IT to provide it. Many shadow IT applications operate on the freemium model with enough free features for their end user to use. And then there is the premium cost for enterprise licensing, the security features we require, and controls like SSO, single sign-on. And it goes without saying that any application you deploy in your business needs to use single sign-on. Shadow IT usage can be a key sign of a disconnect between IT and its customers or their end users within the business. This is where changes in the business and IT relationship can be made. Monitoring SaaS app usage and tracking end-user app subscriptions isn't about hunting down and penalizing employees who use shadow IT. It's simply a basic SaaS security and management task and an essential IT activity. And here is a typical scenario I often use. There might be a company-approved managed project management app deployed in your organization. However, end users have multiple options for other applications they might choose to use instead. This can be down to just personal preference or for technical operational feature needs. This creates a problem for IT administrators. Who owns that account? Who manages the access? And the problem of company data being on services the company has no centralized control over. The IT professionals overcoming these obstacles are SaaSOps professionals. They understand the key concepts of an efficient IT operation. They want to reduce friction. If a security policy creates unnecessary barriers, employees will find ways around it. They want to improve collaboration among the company and their own IT teams. And they want to increase scalability. They don't want to be worried about local storage limitations and unboxing and racking new servers. All this raises the standing IT has within the business and gives them a seat at the table. It's believed currently that a third of IT pros are spending half a week or more performing SaaS management tasks manually. Automation is hardly a radical new concept for IT management tasks. Active Directory tasks have been performed with scripts for years. And as we move to a full SaaS-based zero trust style enterprise, those automation skills and tools need to be utilized more. When recruiting for IT roles, we're not just looking for Active Directory and laptop hardware skills. Just as important, if not more, in today's market is experience in and an understanding of a wide range of SaaS tools like Google Workspace, Office 365, and APIs and webhooks, for example. As the sign says, if you're offboarding a user manually, it can take up to 119 clicks. And if you just have Google Workspace and no other application, you're looking at about 20 to 30 clicks, depending on the tasks you need to do on that account. With that many clicks for just one user, mistakes will be made or actions overlooked when somebody leaves the business at 5:30 on a Friday. Does the IT team stay late to get all of those tasks done? Do they do some of the tasks on a Friday and then plan to do the rest on Monday? How many of our Monday morning plans didn't go as we expected, right? All this needs to be automated to ensure accounts are secure and to conform to compliance requirements, because nobody likes to fail a SOX audit and nobody wants to be front page news. Thankfully, there is a growing market of SaaS management platforms to help us automate these tasks. These new breed of platforms can help with just Google Workspace management or Azure AD Office 365 management, or they can be a true multi-SaaS management platform, giving you the tools to centrally manage Google Workspace, Office 365, Slack, Zoom, Dropbox, and many others. Workflows can be created to automate previous repetitive tasks, and alerts can be set up to warn of potential data loss, like perhaps incorrect sharing of documents. These platforms can also give you an insight into your actual SaaS license usage to help manage spend and budgets. With connections into finance platforms, they can provide information about IT unsanctioned applications being charged to company credit cards and a view on shadow IT application usage. All this information is extremely useful to the IT professional, as they have the knowledge and information to discuss application usage concerns with the business. This helps raise IT standing in the business as a team player and as a genuine collaborator. So here is an example of a better cloud workflow. As you can see, there are a number of actions that will automatically be done against any given account. An offboarding workflow like this often starts with the most basic security tasks, changing a user's password, hiding them from the company directory, removing third-party application access. Then it can progress to other tasks when offboarding a user, like transferring their calendar events or transferring their documents to ownership of a line manager. So there are a lot of benefits of using a SaaS management platform for the support and services they provide, but you can also start automation on your own. Google Workspace can be managed and parts automated with GAM, the Google Apps Manager, which is available for free. And everything is built around publicly published APIs. So with the right knowledge and testing, you can build your own automation. For example, the creation of a new user account in Google Workspace can be automated in Google Sheets with Google Apps Script, and the reverse could easily be done for offboarding staff who leave. Remember all those clicks we talked about earlier? All of that needs to be automated. SaaS and SaaSOps has gained a lot of attention in 2020. In the early part of the year, we saw SaaS power a historic workforce transformation. Businesses around the world leverage SaaS platforms to shift employees out of physical offices and into remote home-based work environments in a very short space of time. This was a great accomplishment for the SaaS model, which supplied the tools needed to keep workers connected, engaged, and productive, and ensure those tools were affordable even for the smallest business. Many SaaS companies were quick to remove limits on free usage, like extending Zoom call times or quickly releasing key feature updates. And Google Workspace is a prime example of that. It was able to develop and then deploy blurred backgrounds, then it did virtual backgrounds, added breakout rooms, and the ability to do polls and QA sessions in Google Meet. This is rapid development, would be hard to do in a traditional world of on-premise installed applications. We can all agree SaaS apps help to keep millions of people employed and productive during very uncertain and challenging times. And they have also helped to keep family and friends connected with Zoom and Google Meet calls. In March and April, I used these tools to do a Saturday evening neighborhood quiz night to entertain our local friends and keep that social connection. Forced to move from office-based situations to working in their home with remote teams, our priorities have had to change. During the last 6 months, obviously, the industry has seen an increasing use of video conferencing solutions, and companies that relied on physical work environments have frantically been upgrading VPN connections. VPN and file servers don't scale well or easily, and I've heard of companies struggling when 100% of employees require VPN access to work. The financial situation has also caused companies to more tightly manage SaaS subscriptions and licenses or consolidate to fewer subscriptions. If you're on Office 365, you might have had Zoom and Slack, but with improvements in Teams, are those applications and costs necessary? All this is something for the SaaS ops professional to consider. Tools we mentioned earlier can help with that management. The modern distributed workforce is here to stay, and so is the need to manage, deploy, monitor, and secure SaaS environments on an ever-increasing scale. The other day, when I was listening to a webinar with Dr. Chase Cunningham, he said that the perimeter-based security does not work. And this has been no more evident during COVID-19 and has accelerated corporations' interest and the need to move to zero trust. All of this, the growth of software as a service applications and the move to remote teams and the increase in the usage of personal device creates a delicate balance between security and productivity. If security is too restrictive, it will break productivity, and users looking for their own productivity solutions introduces security concerns. The security that IT deploys needs to be seamless, frictionless, so that it provides the security the company needs, but provides the productivity freedom for the end user. And all of this comes together, securing the device, whether that be corporate or personally owned, and the user, their account, and the data they access. Unified endpoint management is a key part of this, and there are many tools that the IT administrator can use. If you have Google Workspace, then the included Google Mobile Management is the perfect place to start for Android and iOS, and also now Windows 10 management. With a remote workforce, we need tools that don't rely on corporate network connectivity. Group policy objects, GPOs, are great when everybody was in the office, but now that should be replaced with something like Microsoft Intune for all of your Windows management needs. For macOS, there is Jamf and other tools, and then there are platforms like HexNote that can do management for a wide range of operating systems. And there are many positives about having a single pane of glass for your unified endpoint management. So SaaS has been great to improve ease of use and productivity, but there can be some drawbacks. As I have always said, the best thing about Google Workspace is that it is accessible everywhere. And the worst thing about Google Workspace is that it is accessible everywhere. So to secure that ease of access, we use Google's strongest security tools, which is part of Google Workspace Enterprise. Security has long been a priority for us, where we've had MDM, mobile device management, and MFA, multi-factor authentication, enforced for many years. With the endpoint verification Chrome extension forced out to our end users, we can get an audit of the device they are accessing our data from. We can check the operating system level, their patch level, and also the status of the hard disk encryption. Then with context-aware access, we can customize access rules based on user group or OU. And then lastly, with Google's free advanced protection program, we can apply more rigorous security to accounts that are with the enforced use of Titan security keys. So with endpoint verification Chrome extension deployed and with context-aware access rules, I can increase our security requirements on all of our devices accessing data. I've blocked access to Windows 7 and versions of Windows 10 and macOS that no longer receive security updates and patches. Additionally, I could, if needed, block access to only allow access from corporate-owned devices, or block access based on IP address, or allow access based on IP address. And this can all be useful for any user accounts that require tighter control. Maybe you want people to only access your data when they're inside your office. Or we can place restrictions to protect clients and company data. All of this is seamless and frictionless to the end user. It does not interfere or inhibit how they work, and with the right balance, and it gives the right balance of security and productivity. So in closing, I would like to just read out a quote that I gave recently when I was asked about SaaSOps. SaaSOps will be the heart and soul of IT. COVID-19 has forced companies to adopt SaaS-based tools, and now they must continue to change and adapt or they will not survive. And the industry analysts are taking note too, from Gartner to a recent Forrester report on software as a service operations. I recommend you find and read those reports. Well, thank you for listening and for your time, and thanks to BetterCloud for information and graphics used in this presentation. I hope this was informative for everyone, and then if you'd like to continue the discussion and the conversation, you can of course find me on LinkedIn, or feel free to join our bi-weekly Zoom meeting that we call Solve. That stands for SaaSOps Live virtual event. You can find out about that at SaaSOps.live. And you can also join other members of the growing SaaSOps community at SaaSOps.community. Thank you.